Good morning, y'all. Miss Harper here for our quadratic regression notes. So you're going to be learning a lot of calculator steps today, so make sure you have your calculator with you. I'd go ahead and clear it out. Second plus 712. First thing right here, don't forget what our quadratic standard form is. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are just representing some number. All right, quick tip too, I want to talk about rounding. So we have tenths, hundred, I'm going to abbreviate hundredths and thousandths. All right, remember that the tenths place is just one decimal. So for example, let's say you roll up your calculator and it says 0.326. All right, and we're rounding this thing to the nearest tenth. So what we do is, this is where we're looking, we look to one decimal to the right. The hint says one decimal. This would round to 0.3. All right, we look to one number to the right. 4 or less, let it rest. 5 or more, add one more. All right, let's say that we're looking at the same thing and we want to round it to the nearest hundredths. Well, that's 2 decimal places. So I'm going to look here and here. All right, and I need to round this out to 2 decimals. So since this 6 is a 6, we're going to bump up this 2. He's going to get an upgrade to 0.33. And then let's just say we have something like 0.324, I don't know, 1. Okay, we're rounding to the nearest thousandths. Well, that means 3 decimal places. So that means I'm looking here and here, my third and fourth decimal. So you look to the decimals, one to the right of where you're trying to be, and see, does he bump him up? In this case, he does not. So it would just stay at 0.324. All right, so just a little friendly reminder there for your rounding. All right, next thing is you have this lovely example here in front of you. So make sure you have your calculator with you. If you remember our linear regressions, we're going to be doing kind of the same thing, our stat edit business, except now we're going to be playing with a quadratic regression. All right, so it spells it out here pretty nicely. This is the data set we want you to use. So go ahead and start practicing with this. All right, so you're going to go here to stat, edit, enter, and remember that your x values go into L1 and your y values go into Y2. So we got our x's here. Our y's go here. If you don't have L1 and L2, go ahead and pause your note video right now, raise your hand, and have your teacher come over and fix that for you. All right, once you've entered in those values, then you're going to go back to stat, over to calc, and now instead of the linear regression, which is what we would do if it was going to be y equals mx plus b, we're going to go one down below there, and we're looking for number 5, that quadratic regression, and then you head all the way down until you see calculate. All right, so then we get this screen if you entered in your numbers correctly, and we're going to practice writing this thing out. Let's say we're going to round this out to the nearest hundredths. All right, remember hundredths, that means 2 decimal places. So I'm going to be looking right here and right here. 2 decimals, so I need to go out to 3. All right, and then this r value for our purposes is going to be kind of irrelevant. All right, so our equation here would end up being y equals the a, the b, and the c is what I plug in here. So I'm going to have y equals 0.10, what did I say, hundredths? Oh, we're just going out to 2 decimals. All right, so this is going to say as 0.10. This 2 is going to let this guy rest. X squared. All right, go ahead and look at our b value. Don't miss those negative signs. That's a common mistake I see. All right, so this is going to become minus 0.5. And since this is a 6, we're going to bump up that 7 to an 8. And he gets an x. And then our c value is going to become negative 4.38. All right, this 0 is going to allow that 8 to rest. And that would be our equation. So it's pretty easy breezy. Most important thing is that whenever you plug in your values, if you did not get the same values this exact screen over here, that means you might have entered in something incorrectly. So always remember, check yourself before you wreck yourself. I know you were saying it in your head. All right, so let's go ahead and practice a couple of these. Everything again is going to be rounded to the nearest hundredths. That is 2 decimal places. So don't forget to look to the third decimal place to determine will it bump up your second decimal or nah. I'm going to do this one with y'all. I also want to show you guys a little trick in your calculator. So if you are in here and you want to clear out your screen, well, two things. One, you can type on top of your numbers, but two, if you'd like to clear it, do not press delete here. All right, instead press clear, enter. We just want to clear the list. If you delete the list, then you're not going to have an L1 and an L2. So do not delete. If you delete, go raise your hand and get your teacher, because we need to be able to input that L1 and L2 back up in there. All right. So let's go ahead and plug in these numbers. For my x values, I have 0, enter, 2, enter, 4, enter, 6, enter. 0, 2, 4, 6. I always like to check myself and triple check myself. 6, enter, 22, enter, 22, enter, 6, enter. Oh, and see, right here, this is why we check ourselves. 22, enter. And as you can see, you can just type over the number and re-enter it. So double check 0, 6, 222, 422, and 6, 6. All right, so now I'm going to go over to Stat, Calc, and we're looking for now a quadratic regression. You can either scroll down to number 5 or just hit number 5, and then we're going to go down here to calculate. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, we get a nice little cute easy breezy one. So our equation here would end up being y equals negative 2x squared, y equals negative 2x squared. It goes plus 12x plus 6. Okay. And that's as easy as it's going to get. All right, so I want you guys to try out, why don't you guys practice number 2. Go ahead and pause your note video, try out number 2, and I'll have the answer posted on the other side. Ready, set, go. All right, if you're joining me again, hopefully you got y equals negative 1x squared plus 7x plus 4. Now, if you had this little 1 shown in there, that is totally fine. You don't have to, but you can. All right, I want you guys to, we'll go ahead and do number 3 together again. Why don't you pause the video, go ahead and input the data set into number 3 into your calculator. All right, so here I am double checking my input values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12.7, 15.2, 14.9, 13.1, 10.4. Again, take the extra time to check yourself so you don't jack it all up. Over to Stat, over to Calc, and number 5, down, 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 blah, 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 enter. All right, and there we go. We got our guy again. All right, so we get negative 0.85x squared plus 4.43 plus 9.32. So this one worked out really nicely for us. So y equals negative 0.85x squared plus 4.43 plus 0.932. Okay, hopefully y'all were able to fit yours in there a little bit better than me. All right, so y'all knock out number 4 on your own. Go ahead and pause the video. Try that one more time. All right, if you're joining me again, hopefully you got the same answer as me. Again, had a hard time squeezing it in there. But is there, double check on your rounding too. Let's see, so oh, wait, what? Well, as you can see here, even I made another mistake. I hate the calculator on the computer. If you're in my class, you know that. Okay, so here we go again. Stat over 5, blah, blah, blah. All right, the answer I had posted on the screen was correct. It's just that my calculator was incorrect. So here we go. So looking at our rounding, remember we're rounding to 2 decimals. So this 9 would bump this guy up to a 4. This 3 would keep the 2. And this 1 would keep the 5. So hopefully you were able to round those off correctly. You will get points taken off for incorrect rounding. Let's slide over to the back real quick. Hopefully that stuff is pretty easy. Now we're going to be talking about making predictions. So first thing, find line of best fit first. Well, yeah, first. Find the line of best fit first. So remember, you always want to get your equation first. And remember to pay attention to rounding, because sometimes it wants you to round it to like the 10th, sometimes the 100th, sometimes the 1000th, sometimes to the nearest whole number. So pay attention for that. A second thing is whenever we're making predictions, determine if it's giving an x or y value, and then we're going to plug in accordingly. So if it gives you an x value, we're going to plug it in for x. If it gives us a y value, we're going to plug it in for y. Or sometimes we can get lucky. I'm just going to side note, or check out the table. Check out your table. Okay, and remember that is second graph. Lots of good info in our table. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out this first one. The function below represents the time in seconds and height in feet after throwing a ball in the air. Find the line of best fit and predict the following. All right, so first things first. Get your calculators going. Go ahead and find your line of best fit. All right, I'm using the calculator in my hand now since I kind of low-key despise the other calculator. But you should have got nice pretty numbers here. Y equals negative 2x squared plus 12x and a positive 6. Alright, so predict the height of the ball after 3 seconds. So this is when we're got to decide, is this giving us an x value or a y value? So after 3 seconds here, well, it says that x was seconds, so I'm going to put seconds here, and height here for our y value. Alright, so if 3 seconds, this is representing an x value, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to input that in for all of my x's, negative 2, x squared plus 12x plus 6. Alright, and again, I just replaced my x values there and there. Now another option would be to go into your graphing calculator and go to y equals, type in this equation, negative 2x squared plus 12x plus 6, and then you can go look at your table. Alright, so since it's asking me for a nice pretty whole number, I should have that point in here, and I can see that after 3 seconds the ball will be 24 feet in the air. So 24 feet. And again, if you had plugged this piece into your calculator, you would have got 24 as well. Alright, now on for our next example. We're going to predict after how many seconds, remember our seconds is talking about the x value, predict after how many seconds the ball will be at a height of 16 feet. So the height of 16 feet, now this is representing a y value. So I would need to plug it in for y technically. However, we're going to again use that calculator. So it's asking when y is 16, what is the value of x? Well, we can't exactly solve this in the nicest way right now. We'll have to talk about this at another time. But what we're going to do is hop into our calculator, do the same thing, and now we're looking for whenever we see that the y value is 16. And right here I see where y is 16, and that's after 5 seconds. So 5 seconds would be our answer here. So your table is going to be your best friend. First, get your line of best fit, plug it into y equals, and then use that table. Alright, I want you guys to go ahead and give your best shot on this problem here. Alright, go ahead and pause the note video, try out number 2 on your own, and we'll resume it with the answers and talk about it. Alright, so hopefully you got your line of best fit here for this problem. I had mistakenly not put, I had forgot to put in 0.43x. Alright, and so make sure that you're getting in both of those variables. Even people like me make mistakes. So after 3 seconds, this is an x value. I'm looking at my table, and after 3 seconds, it says that it's at a height of 14.96 meters, which is very close to what we had right here. And then predict how many seconds the rocket will be at a height of 5.3. Well, that is a y value. So I'm looking through my y values, and I'm trying to see when it gets to 5.3, and that is after 6 seconds. So in your table it says 6 seconds for x and 5.3 for y. So hopefully you were able to get those. Great. If you have any questions, please ask your teacher.